Hello, my friends. Welcome back once again for another yoga session. I'm Andi. Thanks for joining me this morning. We're going to get you prepared to get out and enjoy all the activities that Summit County has to offer. And as always, stick around to watch TV8 Summit, and we'll be giving you updates on all the fun things that you can take advantage of while here. So today we're going to start off our practice in a seated position, actually seated with our knees bent, with our seat onto our heels. If this is uncomfortable for the knees and you've had any injuries, feel free to grab a pillow or cushion, whatever you have available at home with you today, and tuck it under your seat, bringing some space between the knees. Or alternatively, you're welcome to just sit directly on your mat, cross-legged, if that's preferable for you. So we'll go on and just start off with a few slow breaths to get focused for our practice. Feel free to rest the eyes if you'd like. Let the eyelids feel heavy. Let all distractions just drift away in these next few moments together. We'll start to find our breath as we inhale, growing a little bit taller in your seat, letting the head lift up out of the shoulders. As you exhale, let those shoulders gently roll back towards the spine and then downward towards the earth. We'll do a few rolls going up and back, releasing down on that exhale. Another full round up and back, opening through the chest and heart area. Take a breath in and exhale. Good. From here, we're going to go on and lift up onto our knees. We'll bring our knees about hip distance apart, finding a little bit of space and hips lined up directly over our knees. Take a breath in, inhale, reaching nice and high. And then on our exhale, we're going to fly the arms back behind our low back, bringing our hands to the tailbone area, fingers pointed downward. We'll have our hands just kind of framing the hips, kind of at the low back sacrum. And then we'll put some gentle pressure at the hips as we sink forward. And then we'll come to a gentle back bend, letting the head fall back if that feels okay on the neck. Continue to take a few breaths. Remember to keep your hips sinking forward. If you wanted to take it a step further, you could find camel pose, bringing your hands all the way down to the heels. Now, if you come to camel pose, be sure to allow your hips to remain over the knees. If they really start to sink back, that's a good sign to return hands to hips. 2 more breaths. And after that last exhale, we're going to release our hands back down, let hips sink to the heels, knees go wide. We'll briefly find a child's pose for a little counter pose for that low back. Bringing arms nice and long, feel that opening through the lumbar spine, relaxing your forehead all the way down to your mat. And on your next breath, start to slowly walk the hands back towards the knees, and we're going to return to our knees once again. Now from here, let's go in and bring your right leg straight off to the side, toes pointed outward, and then your left hip will line up over your knee. We'll take your inhale, bringing left arm up and over, reaching for that right wall. Let your right hand gently slide down the leg. Now, we're not holding our weight with that hand, it's just guiding our slide here. Make sure that you're not putting direct pressure onto the kneecap as well. Try to stay below or above if possible. So continuing to get a nice deep opening through the side body, eyes gazing up towards the elbow. We should find that little inner bend of the elbow just over the face. Take another big inhale. Exhale. We'll fly the arm back, up and over. As we exhale, release that hand directly underneath your shoulder. And then a couple options for you here. You could bring that right leg out and right arm behind you, nice and open, relaxing through the neck. If you wanted to take it a step further, feel free to grab the hand to the foot or ankle area, and then pressing the top of the foot into your hand, begin to open up, creating space between the heel and hip. Soften through the neck once again. Maybe bringing the eyes upward. Take a breath in, remaining strong. And then when you're ready, we're gonna eventually relax that knee, start to walk it back to center. We'll take a breath in and out. We'll walk the hands back towards the knees, lifting up once again. Left leg will go straight out to the side. Right hip is lined up over the knee. Inhale, bring arm up and over, reaching for the wall. Gently letting that hand slide down the leg. Again, remembering to not put direct pressure onto the knee. Try to just let that hand guide you. It's just staying passive, utilizing our core to guide ourselves into our side opener here. Continuing to reach, continuing to breathe. Feel that opening through the rib cage, creating space between each rib, all the way down into the anterior part of the pelvis. Maybe even getting a little opening through the low back as well. Another big breath in, we'll rise. And exhale, releasing hand to the earth. Left hand could fly all the way back. Or you could bring hand to the foot and begin to extend a nice big opening between heel and hip. Continuing to let the neck soften, gaze upward. Finding a nice gait variation through here. Maybe getting into our quad and hip flexor area again. And then when you're ready, we'll go in and relax that knee back down, coming back to center. Take a breath in and out. We'll come back to child's pose one more time. Let your hips sink back to the heels. Bring your knees a little bit wider. Start to walk your hands down to the top of the mat once again. On our next breath in, we'll start to rise. Let the hips lift away from those heels. Hands come to the top of our mat. Toes will tuck under. We're gonna push our hips to the ceiling and we'll find downward dog. Our first time getting into downward dog this morning, begin to bend each knee, walk it out for a moment, letting the head feel heavy. Pressing each heel towards the earth. Finding that space between thumb and first finger and really pressing into the top of our mat. Take a breath in and exhale. On our next breath in, we're gonna release our exhale into a high plank. Bringing shoulders over the wrist, option to drop your knees to the earth at any point in time. We'll take it through our flow. Going down through chaturanga, low plank, finding an upward dog or cobra, and then sliding back to downward dog. We'll transition back to where we began here. Take a nice big deep inhale and exhale. We'll repeat that round one more time. Again, you are welcome to hold at your downward dog or high plank if you prefer. Release, take it through your flow at your own pace, and then don't forget to breathe. Letting our hips lift and returning to downward dog. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. On our next breath in, we're going to start to walk our hands towards our feet. We'll rise to a standing forward fold and then continue all the way to standing, arms reach overhead. Reaching nice and high, exhale, palms to heart center. Inhale, rise. And exhale to mountain pose. We're gonna bring our hands straight out to either side of the body, palms open. Start to let the tops of the hands extend back, open through the chest and heart. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. Inhale, rise again, reaching nice and high. Exhale, dive to your fold. Inhale, rising halfway to a flat back. And exhale, fold. We'll repeat that one more time, picking up the pace. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, palms to heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, mountain pose this time, bringing palms open. Continue to take a full breath. Let the tops of the hands extend back. Open through the shoulders. And inhale, rise again. And exhale, dive all the way back to your fold. Inhale, up halfway to flat back. And exhale, fold. We're gonna inhale, rising up once again. We'll leave our hands overhead this time, creating some space between the palms. Palms turn towards each other. We'll take a nice deep inhale. As we find our inhale, we're gonna go on and step our right foot forward and bring left foot back, finding our warrior one. So a couple adjustments here. We'll have our heels about lined up on the same plane. Front knee is over the ankle. Back foot is at a slight angle. And then we're gonna bring our hips so they're squared. So we're gonna bring that left hip up to meet the right, and we'll return arms overhead. Take a nice deep breath in. Remember to keep that bend at the front knee. Take another inhale. Exhale, we're gonna go right into warrior two. Palms will turn downward, right arm reaches forward, left arm behind you. Now our hips are gonna open up and that back foot can angle outward. So our front heel is gonna be kind of framed by the back arch of our foot. Continue to take another breath. As we exhale, we're gonna flip the front palm up, reverse warrior or peaceful warrior, reaching overhead all the way behind you. Continue to leave that front leg where it's at. It's gonna be tempted to drift back with you. Keep aligned, and that left hand is gonna be passive and relaxed back there. Inhale, cartwheeling all the way back, passing warrior two. We're gonna come to extended side angle pose. Option to bring elbow to knee, hand to a block, or hand all the way to the earth. For this variation, we're gonna have that left arm reaching forward to the front of the room. Relax through the neck. And inhale, come back up, warrior two. Take another breath in. Exhale, cartwheel both hands all the way to the top of your mat. We'll step right foot back to meet the left and find downward dog. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, high plank. Take it through your flow. You have an option to hold at downward dog or your plank. Take your time returning all the way back. Finding strength through the core once again. Begin to feel a little bit warmer now as you wake up. Take another breath in. Exhale, walking your hands back towards the feet. We'll find our standing fold and rise all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, palms to heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, mountain. Take another full breath, open through the chest. And then we'll rise one more time. Exhale, dive down to your fold. Inhale, lift halfway to a flat back, gaze to the top of your mat. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise. This time we're gonna leave arms overhead, find space between the palms. Step your left foot forward, we'll find warrior one. So taking a moment to make our adjustments if needed. Front knee is gonna be bent over the ankle, back foot at a slight angle, and then we'll bring that right hip up to meet the left. Squaring everything up forward to center, take a breath in. Exhale, let those shoulders soften downward, let the hands extend up. From here, we're gonna open up into our warrior two. Left arm goes forward, right arm behind us. Hips will open and we'll adjust our back foot. Settling in, take a breath in. Exhale. From here, we'll find reverse warrior, front palm flips forward, we'll reach up and over behind us. Keep that left knee over the ankle, right hand is relaxed. Continuing to breathe as you gaze upward. Extending those hands even further. Nice deep side opening, and then we'll fly back up, passing through that warrior two, all the way down to extended side angle pose. Reaching overhead, relax the neck. Again, you could have your elbow at the knee if you have a block or pillow, hand could come down, or maybe your hand's coming all the way down to the earth. Any variation you'd like to take is fine. And we'll come back on up to warrior two. Finding warrior two once again, cartwheel the hands all the way to the top of our mat. Adjust your back foot, step left foot back to meet the right. Finding our downward dog. Take a breath in and out. Good. On our next breath in, let's go on and bring your right leg off the ground towards the ceiling. Add that bend to the knee, lifting your knee nice and high. And then from here, we're gonna go on and take our right knee all the way up to our right hand and find pigeon pose. So we're gonna drop our lower leg onto the mat at a slight angle here. We'll walk our left leg back nice and far. And then hips are squared once again, so that just means bringing our left hip to the same height as our right. If it's feeling a little tight through the hips this morning, you're welcome to grab a blanket or pillow and just place that underneath your hips for support. Take another inhale as you lift through the heart. And then as you exhale, we're gonna hold here for a few moments. So go on and get comfy. You could stay at your hands. Maybe you have a pillow you're gonna use as a bolster under the forearms. Maybe you're gonna relax the forearms all the way down to the earth. Start to notice any contractions or tension in that muscle tissue on that right hip. With each exhale, we're just gonna consciously let that go. Focusing in on your breath. Again, read your body and modify as necessary. If you have any props at home, again, pillows and blankets are great ones to use if you don't have anything else available. With each exhale, letting those hips feel heavy towards your mat. Two more breaths, settling in, giving your body the opportunity to warm up and acclimate to the pose. When you're ready to find breath again, we'll transition back to the hands. Let your heart lift once again. Inhale. And on our exhale, we're gonna actually take a seat onto that right hip. We're gonna fly our left leg all the way around, up to the front, and cross that ankle to the outside of the knee area. So at this point, you should have your left knee up, right leg still hanging out down there, and we'll just kind of tuck the heel into the hip. We do want both hips attached to your mat, so if things are feeling a little tight, you're welcome to modify by simply just bringing that leg out in front of your knee instead. If you'd like to bring it to this side and that feels comfortable, give it a go if you want to try that out. We'll take a breath in, grow tall in your seat. Exhale, relax through the shoulders. Next breath in, we're gonna reach nice and high. Exhale, palms down to heart center. We'll inhale. As we exhale, we're gonna twist over to your left first here, bringing our elbow to the outside of the knee area for a seated twist. Now, option to keep palms together, or if you'd like to join me, you could bring left hand down onto your mat, somewhere behind the hips. Right arm could come to a bend, and we'll glance over our left shoulder for either variation. Gazing to the back of your mat or the back of the room. Remember to keep tall in our seat, and if you do have your left hand on the earth, make sure it's light back there. We're not leaning into it, it's just guiding our twist around. And we'll come back to center. Go on and uncross that leg. We're gonna bring that leg all the way around so that that left knee tucks behind your right hip, and heel will be just outside of the hip. Again, if that's kind of tight, you could tuck a blanket underneath the hip easily. We'll walk the hands back. Opportunity to stay here at the hands. If you'd like to take it a step further, you're welcome to drop to elbows and forearms, or maybe you're coming all the way down onto your back. We're gonna get into a nice stretch for our quad hip flexor area on that left leg. Now, as we lower, we wanna keep our knees and hips lowered as well. So if you're lowering down with your upper body and your lower body starts to elevate, it's a good sign to come back to your hands to modify. We'll take a few breaths here, relaxing into the hold again. Relaxing through the neck. Make sure you're not straining your neck to lift. 2 more breaths. And then we'll gradually make our way back up to the hands. Be gentle with the neck as you lift. Take your time coming up. We'll bring hands all the way up to the top of our mat. And then we're gonna slowly make our way back to downward dog. Take your time getting there. Finding our alignment once again, finding our setup, making little tiny adjustments as you make your way there. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, settling in even deeper into the hold. Next breath in, we'll bring left leg nice and high. Start to add a bend to that left knee, lifting it towards the sky. Take another inhale, watch the shoulders. Exhale, bringing that knee all the way towards your left hand, and then lowering left leg onto your mat. We'll find an angle at the knee area. We'll walk our right leg back nice and long. You can come to the top of the foot if you prefer. And then taking a deep breath in, lift the heart. Exhale, hips are squared, and then here's where you can get comfortable again. Maybe you're remaining at the hands, maybe you come to elbows and forearms. Maybe you're coming down all the way to the earth. Again, utilize any props you have available if you'd like. We'll settle in for a few more breaths. With each exhale, letting those hips feel weighted towards your mat. And watching out for the shoulders too. If you are coming to your forearms, make sure you're not collapsing down into the shoulders. Keep things nice and elevated. Noticing how this hip feels. Sometimes one hip's a little tighter than the other. So bring attention to that. It's nice to try to seek symmetry. So find balance to either side of the body if that's available. With each exhale again, letting that left hip just settle in. Letting your body adapt. Letting your breath again guide you through the longer hold. Just a few more breaths here. And then when you're ready for your next inhale, start to make your way back to the hands. Big lift as you get to the top. Inhale. And then exhale, take a seat on that left hip, and we'll fly our right leg all the way up to the front of our mat. Go on and set up for your seated twist, lifting each hip if you need to, settle in. We'll bring your left knee up for a little hug. Again, you can easily just bring the ankle in front of your opposite knee if needed. Take a breath in. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Inhale again, reaching nice and high. Exhale, palms down to heart center. We'll take an inhale here. Exhale, twisting to your right. We'll take a look over the shoulder. Again, you could leave palms together or drop right hand down onto your mat. Looking all the way around, feel that twist coming up from the tailbone all the way to your chin. So a nice dynamic movement, especially if you've been doing a lot of traveling or skiing. This is a really nice pose to get into to kind of decompress the spine a little bit, start to just open things up in the low back, which tends to get a little tight with either of those activities. Continuing to breathe and exhale. We'll begin to make our way forward back to center. Untuck the legs, uncrossing them, we'll bring that right knee behind the left foot, heel just outside of the hip. Start to walk it back for our quad stretch. Again, you could stay at hands, you could come to elbows and forearms, maybe you're coming all the way down to the earth. Any of those options are fine. Find, again, whatever variation your body is feeling today, whatever you need, accommodating for any injuries or muscle tightness. Again, we don't want to force the pose, but we do want to still feel it. So find that happy place somewhere in between. Take an inhale, lifting through the heart as we breathe. And exhale. We'll take a few more breaths in this position. Continue to inhale nice and deeply all the way into the belly. And then when you're ready to rise, we'll continue back to the hands. And then this time, we're gonna just fly that leg all the way up to the front. We'll find a seated position, and then we'll go on and bring soles of the feet to the earth, scoot your hips forward, and then we're gonna make our way down onto our back. Now, as you come to the back, we're gonna give our knees a little hug to the chest. Feel free to roll around a little bit, massaging out the hips and spine. Any movements that your body is feeling right now, whatever you need to prepare to start your day, if there's any other poses that your body needs to prepare for. And then we're gonna make our way all the way down into our Shavasana. Feel free to get comfortable and settle in for a few moments. We'll hold here for several breaths. We'll have a nice place of stillness. Begin to just let all thoughts and distractions drift away in these final moments together.